Welcome to a Better Earth podcast featuring CEO Zain Jan, CSO Shaun Sharabi, CMO Trace Rukarian, and the host, Ty Rukarian. So amazingly, this is the first time in 2.5 years we've had Shaun Sharabi on the podcast. We've been working, so welcome. How's it feel?
Thank you. Feels good. Feels good. I feel like I was forgotten about for a while. But,
He's finally out of his spreadsheet.
Well, what's crazy, he went from never being on to hosting 2 or 3 today.
Yeah, he's got his own
If
podcast.
you guys haven't heard of Breaking Business, everyone check out Breaking Business.
Breaking Business launching in April 22nd?
April 11th.
April
You
11th.
find yourself also into spreadsheets and looking at quarterly earning reports of publicly traded companies, you should watch it.
Let's not promote it too much because he hasn't filled out the advertising sheet.
I also haven't been booked as a guest yet, which I'm pretty upset
That
about.
is,
I was guest number one, and it was the most viewed podcast on Breaking Business.
it comes out in a couple days.
Yeah, most viewed.
So what we're going to do on this podcast a little bit, we're in Tampa, new future home of Better Earth, HQ. We just opened up Florida. It is April 2022, and we got a lot of things happening. We're growing throughout every side of the business, and we'll do a little recap here, a little future here, a little metaverse here, and let's get into it. So first off, welcome to Tampa, our future HQ. Why did you guys start thinking about Tampa in our growth path and for our HQ?
Yeah, well, first off, it was a great location. We have a lot of people that are from Florida. And if we look at Florida, right now California is the number 1 market in the U.S. for residential solar. We look at Florida. Florida is leading right now at number 2. And what's insane is a few years ago, Florida was barely on the map, and to see, it just skyrocket with Florida coming on, Texas coming on, they've really taken over the market. Today, the 4 largest markets are predominantly California, Florida, Arizona, and Texas. So to have those be 4 of the biggest markets is obviously a huge thing. So we said, we're currently in California. California is great, and California has paved the way for the industry and pioneered what solar really is. But Florida is one of the next big markets, and we always want to be a part of something emerging, something growing. Over the past few years, a lot of people have moved to Florida, and it just turned into a great hub for business. So when we were looking at different locations, we looked at Miami, we looked at Tampa, we looked at different areas, and Tampa just seemed like the hub, seemed like the next big thing. There's a lot of tech companies coming here, just a lot of different companies that we can collaborate with in the future, and it's just a very, very good state to do business in right now. So Tampa became kind of, one of the main spots and competitors for, when we were looking at all the locations, and it won, and now we're ready to kind of go full steam and build HQ 1.0. Is kind of first up, while we craft out 2.0 into being really the dream HQ for not only Better Earth, but for all of solar. We want our HQ to be really the foundation for other solar companies to be able to come and use and look at and get inspired by. So that's kind of the long term. That's 2.0, but 1.0 is going to be where we, host content, bring in people, bring in our partners, bring in our customers even. Really just turn it into an all-encompassing kind of almost like a campus where people can come. So that's kind of the goal with it.
It's crazy in 2.5 years, 2 years and 8 months, however long it's been, we have never worked out of an office space with everybody. We obviously installing, you have warehouse space that field operations has to work out of.
Probably going to be the first $100 million company.
All virtual?
That built it all virtually. I mean, listen, we got to check out there. I'm sure that there's some out there that maybe have done it as well, but there can't be too many. Yeah, definitely in the industry.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You were asking that question. I was thinking, honestly, the driver was, first off, can we just get in person more with everybody? We've been doing this thing from a distance for a while, and we've been doing it decently well. But every time we're in person, we're faster, sharper, get more done. And a lot of people are on the East Coast, whether it's the Northeast or down in Florida. And it seemed like a place that we could do something where it would invite as many people as possible, as many people in leadership as possible to come here. And we could all kind of start working together, collaborating more together. And then obviously with some of the new kind of departments that we're launching and some of the fun new initiatives, it made the most sense to kind of build it out from here. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. We just haven't had an HQ yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also think it was an advantage, right? Because we didn't have an HQ when you were allowed to bring people into an office. Pre-COVID, we were launched in 2019. So when that happened, like every business had to shift fundamentally in like how they did business, and we had already been doing business that way.
Yeah.
So it made it really easy. But yeah, with growth and honestly like doing what we're doing today and everything, like that's like the first goal of HQ is like content hub. We're building out a tech development team. They're here in Tampa, local. So I think giving people a place to come that they want to come, and I think that'll still be the tone of Better Earth. It's not like we're going to go to like mandatory show up in the office 9 to 5. That's not us. I don't think it'll ever be us. But to have a space we can call our own, that we can do content out of, that we can hang out at, be really productive, work, bring people in, I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I know you guys were looking at some spaces today. We have some more spaces we're looking at this week as well.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, and you talk about 2.5 years ago, we didn't have any warehouses. Our office that we kind of had was a makeshift shared workspace. One of the reasons we're here in Florida is we just opened up our HQ in the warehouse side of things in Lakeland, about an hour from Tampa, our 5th major warehouse in our 3rd state. Talk about it from your guys' side, Zain and Shaun. You've seen what it's taken to get one warehouse off the ground, buy the vehicles, look at getting a 2nd warehouse, a 3rd, expanding territory, expanding states. There's been a lot we've learned and a lot of probably scary days. And, now we're in the growth days, the better days, and we're getting there. What has it really been like kind of behind closed doors for you all in this kind of rocket ship? Because it hasn't always just been, going a million miles per hour. There's been some rocky times, COVID times, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of adversity, honestly, as a company from the beginning, really starting at right before the height of COVID, and then going into COVID. So there was always a little bit of uncertainty when COVID happened, I think, for every business. But for us, because we had played around in the virtual landscape, we knew exactly what to do. And we just took ownership and control. And, all of us are, I think, very responsible people, and we like to take ownership. So we said, listen, it's, this is not up to anyone else other than us. So we control our circumstances, and we're responsible for our employees, our staff, and our salespeople. So we have to provide, and that's exactly what we did. So fast forward today with, 5 warehouses, we're probably going to open up, a new warehouse at least every quarter this year. If not, every few months, and we're expanding really fast. I think one of the biggest highlights of kind of what we've been doing is over the last kind of 12 to 24 months, it's really been from the start of the company, building our foundation to get to where we need to go. And finally this year, we're in a place of, we went from building infrastructure and, just building overall to now we can sprint, we can run, and it's crazy. We're almost doubling our revenue, and we aren't facing growing pains. It feels like we're exactly where we are meant to be, and we feel like we can keep going because we've built such a strong foundation. And that took finding the right team, finding the right people, partnering with the right sales companies, bringing on the best salespeople, recruiting, over 100+ salespeople every single month to go out there and get the product out, and becoming one of the top players. And over Q4 of last year, we moved up the ranks and, continue to be one of the top companies in the nation at solar. And we really firmly believe that by the end of 2022, we will become the top 10 largest U.S. solar residential companies, of which we are the only one on that list that's going to be, 2.5 to 3 years old. Every other company there is, at least, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 years old. So I think that's number one. And then number two, if you look at the leadership of a lot of those companies, a lot of them, and there's nothing wrong with this, but, they come from different backgrounds. They were in finance before, they were in construction before, they were doing this or that. Our company is naturally a very kind of proactive young company, but I think what's unique about a lot of the kind of founding leadership is everyone was kind of doing something different before. No one really had solar experience, and all of us joined solar and kind of got into solar sales and became obsessed with this. And it's the craziest thing to me when I look at our team is everyone is so bought in, 110% every single day, from entry-level people I meet that literally just started at the company a week ago to people that were here from day one. Everyone is just as bought in and motivated. And this is a lot more than just about money or growing within just the solar industry. This is about helping people and changing lives, and that's what Better Earth has done so well. And we just want to be the pioneer for other companies to keep doing it. We are not in the business of taking out our competitors. We are in the business of making our competitors better by setting the standard of what the solar industry needs to be. Because up until now, it's been an industry where we've been, behind, in my opinion. We haven't done the things that other more mature industries have done over time. So now solar is becoming professional, and a lot of big players are starting to step into solar. You're seeing that with large solar companies now are getting massive, multi-billion-dollar valuations and huge investments. People are putting their eye on the space, and we have absolutely no doubt, no reservation in our mind that we aren't the best. Like we know there is no one even close to us. And it's not because, we do something special. It's because we care so much about experience and the product that we provide to our customers and our sales reps and everyone involved. And naturally that leads to being the best company. If you look at Better Earth this year in 2022, and I know we're going to cover a lot of this in the podcast, what we have done already this year is unbelievable. From launching 2 brand new sales divisions that weren't existent before in the last year, to launching new software and growing with that and continuing to further development of a software that we believe is literally going to be the tool that anyone who goes solar in the United States is eventually going to go through, to bringing on amazing talent and team members and growing the force, doubling our install capacity and our actual installs, doubling our revenue, just doing a lot of amazing things in such a short period of time. And all of that is just the byproduct of 2 years of head down of building the foundation. And because we stayed in the game and built the foundation, that's where we are today. So yeah, I know that's kind of a lot, but it's in my opinion what we've done that's separated us.
Yeah, and you mentioned like our background and then our focus on experience. Like when we started Better Earth, we weren't an installer. Wasn't even necessarily the goal to become an installer. I think probably we thought maybe 5 years down the line, like it would make sense to do it. But because customer experience is our core pillar, when we went to the industry and we worked as a sales organization, we started working with other installers. We just found if customer experience is really number one, we have to do it because we couldn't find it out in the marketplace. There was no one else that would basically play up to our level in the construction game. And I think that is one of the unique things is like we all came from sales and marketing and providing great customer experience. We've all sat at hundreds of kitchen tables and went through it with homeowners, which I think is why we made that acquisition of our installer and became vertically integrated, because again it was a customer experience play more than anything else, right?
Yeah. I mean, opening warehouse 5 versus warehouse 2 were night and day difference. The way that I think of it is like warehouse 2 was like we were like blind. We knew we had to go forward, but like we were blind, and once we had hit a wall, then we recognized the wall was there, and then we changed our direction a little bit, but just knew forward was the direction, but we were just hitting walls back and forth. And it's like now warehouse 5 was almost like, okay, we look back a little bit and we're a little less blind. We've run into the walls in kind of scaling and getting to the point where we're at now, that now we're able to just kind of copy and paste a little bit more and like duplicate ourselves a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, to your point, like to me, there's two things that I would say summarize why we're where we're at today and why we will always get to where we want to go. Number one, it's the people. It's not just people overall, it's the right people. And this is something that I think is incredibly important, where having the right people on your team is the difference between you being able to execute on your goals versus not being able to execute on the goals. That's all it comes down to. And for the first year, 2 years, 2.5 years, every time we felt like we hit a spot where we were like, we need another person here, we're missing a puzzle piece, the number one focus was find the right person, find the right people. Many times that right person came from within the company, which is awesome to see. Many of our VPs, directors that run a large part of the company are people that have been with us, for some time. And then there are people that we brought in from outside, of course, but it's one of the greatest lessons I think I I soaked in, and I think we've learned as an organization, as a team, was recognizing when we need help, not being scared to like look for it and ask for it, and having the ability to, have that person join our team, recruit them, sell them onto the vision, and then be able to give them the platform and take care of them as needed to be able to do what we wanted to do. So, to me, it's always people, number one, the right people. And that will, I think, be my answer today, tomorrow, for 5 years, and for the next 20 years. And number two, it's that relentless focus on experience. And I think this is something Zain and I have talked a lot about. And I remember years ago when we first started talking about becoming an installer and so on. And there was this, I remember this Jeff Bezos video. There was 2 of them. And I was just watching different things about what he's done, what Amazon's done. And every single one, his number one focus that he always goes to is his customer experience. And he's like, the first value, the first focus, the first pillar, whatever you want to call it at Amazon, was obsessed with customer experience. And it's like that same, whether the video is from 2005 or 2015, whatever it was, that was what he talked about. And I think that type of mentality and understanding the importance of that tied back to why we wanted to start the company overall. Like when we sat down, our first conversations were so focused on what impact do we want to have here? What problems do we want to solve in this world? What can we do collectively as a group that there would be just no chance in us doing kind of on our own and individually? And if that goal that we want to do collectively isn't insanely big, we need to stop and just go do our own thing. But if we really are going to come together and commit to this, we have to have an insanely massive goal and be building with the right intention at our core. And that's why no matter what, at the end of every single day, what will drive us, what will influence how we make our decision is going to revolve around, are we improving the experience of our people? And we always talk about our people broken out in a couple manners. So our customers, number one, we have our salespeople, right? The actual people selling the product. They're the ones that are educating people. We need to make sure that they are taken care of and they feel excited to go do that, right? Number two, we have our employees, the people that are behind the scenes working day in and day out, especially our installers, the ones that are on the roofs, installing the actual panels, the one that are allowing us to operate as a business. Number three, we have our end user, our end homeowner, right? The person that's getting this system installed and that we're promising we're going to take care of them for the next years to come. And if we don't wake up, and I loved when Zain said this a couple months ago, we have to focus on selling our customers every single day. Like we have to resell them every single day on why we're the best. And if we wake up with that focus, intention, and never waver off of that, all of our decisions will be focused on how can we just improve the experience of our people. And it's something that we've done from the very beginning. And I mean, anytime I look up, I look around and I'm like, there's so many ways that we can make the experience better, but what got us here and what's allowing us to be a difference maker is the fact that we are caring so much about our people and we're caring so much about our customers at the end of the day, because that's what is going to allow our business to scale. We talk about a 20, 30-year vision, and a 20, 30-year vision only comes from lifetime value. A lifetime value only comes from your customer from year one wants to be your customer in year 20. You can build a company, sell it in a couple years by having bad customer experience. But if you want to build something that's going to last generations and leave legacy, you have to build that. You have to build that and deliver unparalleled customer experience. So anyway, kind of to both of your points, those are the two biggest things that always jump to me. And I don't think we'll ever shift off of that, to be honest, is having the right people on our team and then just relentless focus on amazing customer experience.
Yeah, and I know you just penned a really nice LinkedIn message on one of those showcases of our customer kind of experience, and when things go wrong, what Better Earth really does to fix the problem. And you brought it up at our sales leader retreat, but I think it'd be amazing for you to talk about it here, what that situation looked like. And I really think that set the tone, not just for us as leaders, for us as a company, for our sales leaders on the sales side, but for our sales partners too. I know I got a lot of feedback from our now over 60 partners, and they read that and they were like, wow, we are partnered with who we want to partner with. Knowing that you would do that, which you're about to talk about. I got so many texts about it. It was amazing. So,
it was, it's bittersweet for sure. It ended up really good, but yeah, I got forwarded this email from one of our customers, and it was a unhappy email. Essentially, the customer expressing that, we really messed up her roof, and she didn't feel like we were taking care of it. She didn't feel like we were responding quickly, and seemed like she was being polite, but this was the email where like her mentality shifted to being like a little more aggressive. So I started to look into it, and I dug into it, and I found out that we went to install the job. We hit a pipe on the install, and we didn't realize that we hit the pipe. So a week later, they noticed that a leak was coming in through one of their rooms. It was in their bathroom. And so they were kind of back and forth. We went out to look at the damage. We were kind of going back and forth to figure out how bad the damage truly was, and come to find out that, from the day of install, water was leaking. There was water damage from the attic to 2 different rooms in the house. And it got so bad that we literally had to, they literally had to move out of their house for like 4 weeks. We had to do an asbestos testing, totally clean out the air, bring in a general contractor to do tens of thousands of dollars of work to like retile 2 pieces of their house, redo an entire closet. The list goes on and on and on. And when this first came to me, I didn't know the extent of this, but I just saw this frustrating email. Once I got into it, my brother Dean had been working on it, running our customer experience world. And I texted the customers. I said, hey, I know it's Saturday. Give me a call. Like, I just found out everything about this job. I want to talk to you and understand this a little bit more from your perspective. So I got on a call with them. It was Saturday. I remember this so vividly. We talked probably for 50 minutes. The sweetest couple ever. Like, they had every right to be 10 times more frustrated than they were, but they were coming from the angle of like, look, we get it. People make mistakes. We just want things to go back to normal. We want you guys to just help us out, because this isn't a good situation. And I told them on the phone, I was like, I'm personally going to be on this job. We have, now over 350, 400 customers that we're installing every single month to go solar. And this was one customer out of the thousands that we have. But I was like, I'm dropping everything and making sure when this comes up, I'm going to be on top of this. Second, we got off that call, sent on a message to our finance team, our customer experience team, our ops team that was helping coordinate through it. And I was like, this is priority number 1. We need to do whatever it takes to make sure that this family can move back into their house, and it is better than when they left. They had a 18-month-old, and the woman was also pregnant. So anyway, I was like, literally got off the phone, and I was like, I sunk, because every reason I got into business was the exact opposite for what was going on right there. Every reason I got into business was to improve people's lives, and I was not improving it at that point. So, big lesson in business that I've learned from the beginning is it's not a matter of never failing. It's a matter of how you respond from that. So within the next couple months, we worked with a general contractor, had them redo their entire home, moved them into an Airbnb. Wasn't even a financial question. I said, whatever amount of money that it is, send this family this money back. And sometime later, we finally got them back into their house, 2 new rooms, solar still on their roof. We were transparently in $98,640, something crazy. It was a tough pill to swallow, but nothing relative to what they were going through at the end of the day, because they had to take off work, like terrible situation. And, it was really, really silver lining. We were at a employee leadership retreat in Jackson Hole earlier this year. And I remember we had a whole day of like masterminding, a lot of good planning, and Dean came over to me and he was like, dude, check this email. And it was the husband sending us an email saying, hey, we're so appreciative of how well you took care of us after you guys got involved that my brother-in-law is now looking to go solar and we want to refer him to you guys. And I was like, this is unbelievable. I was like, this is why we do what we do, because when you're going through the worst thing in the world, experience is not a matter of never having problems. The difference between good experience and great experience is good experience, you have few problems. Great experience, when your problems arise, you respond and correct them as quickly as humanly possible. And naturally, as you're a high growth company, you're in a construction, shit's going to happen. Like, it just will. And you can never promise things are going to be perfect, but what you can promise is we got your back when things go wrong. Does not matter what the other implications are. And, that email was just so like, it almost felt like it was worth it. Everything that we had like gone through and the what we put in to make sure that this was fixed was worth it. I mean, $98,000 on one project is a lot of money. It's 4 times the average revenue on a job. But, to me, that allowed me and I think the company to be able to sleep better at night, knowing that this is who Better Earth is. Better Earth is a company that we are higher value. We are going to be here for the long haul because we care. Like, I think the message that people need to always remember, and why I love that we do these podcasts, is behind every company is a group of people, and it's a group of people that make decisions. And at Better Earth, many of the people that make a lot of these decisions or influence these decisions are us four, right? We have a lot of other partners that we work with and collaborate with. We're very collaborative with it, but we influence a lot of it. And I think what people need to understand is whether we're, 400 installs a month, 1,400 installs a month, 40,000 installs a month, multi-billion-dollar company, at the end of the day, there's always going to be people that are making the decisions, that are behind the scene, that are a part of the business. And when there's an issue like that, so sensitive, that comes up, how we are as humans, who we are, why we became business partners, was we had the same values and we aligned on what's important in this world and what's important to building a successful, strong business. And that is taking care of our customers and taking care of our people. And that's something we will never, ever, ever waver on. And nothing that, money or anything else will come before. That will always triumph and be more important than anything else that's out there. So anyway, long story short, it was a shit show that turned out to be okay because we responded well.
Yeah, and I think that story resonates with anyone that's been in the solar industry at any level. They've all had jobs that go sideways, things that have happened, and maybe their installer partner who they worked with drops the ball even further. They don't fix what they say. They're not the company that they thought they were when they partnered. And I think that story and what we've done as a company from that point forward really showcased how we're gonna solve problems. And I know I use that story, and now I think Carl with our dealer side's using that story to say, hey, like, what makes Better different? What's the differentiator? Particularly for other sales orgs that we're bringing in, even in our own like kind of sales dealer on the internal side, and that's something they don't hear from anyone else. One, willing to talk about the problem solving, but two, like showcasing it and talking about it and putting it out there into the world, not just on the podcast, but on LinkedIn. Like, we're willing to talk about when we screw things up because it's going to help us grow, and we're not scared of failing. That's why our growth path has been so exponential.